Hello and welcome back to tonight's episode 9 of our Epic Generation. There's only going to be a few more episodes left, so we're going to wrap up this limited series in another one or two episodes after tonight. So definitely check them out while they last. So hopefully, in line with the easing of stage 4 restrictions in Victoria, we'll wrap the series up. But tonight, got a very special guest. Her name is Viviana Bastidis. I hope I said that correctly. And she is a lot of things: yoga teacher, chef, first and foremost. And I'm really interested in getting her on to just get first-hand experience into how this whole lockdown has affected chefs and our community. So let's get her insights into how everything's affected hospitality and even her life being a chef. Hey, how
Hello,
you going?
hey, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you for
So good
jumping
to
on.
see you. Thank you
You
so much
too,
for
you
inviting
too.
me.
Yeah, that's awesome, awesome. So I gave a brief introduction about yourself, but I would like to talk about your other Instagram page, which is Dine with Viv, which you started earlier last year.
Yes.
So I guess the first question, if we jump straight into it, Viv, is yeah, how and why did you start Dine with Viv, and like what gaps did you see in the industry or society?
So I thought I did a lot of different restaurants, different kinds of cuisines, and I realized that people were always requesting different food with different dietaries, and sometimes we weren't sure how to replace it or is it going to taste good or not. And then I also throughout yoga and exercising, I wanted to eat a bit healthier, so I started playing with myself, substituting fats and sugars and all these kind of things, carbohydrates, especially not refined flours, and started just like that, researching, playing around, and came up with actually nice products. And then I sort of wanted to share. I used to share with a few friends of my yoga or my yoga studio, my teachers, and yeah, and then they said, "Oh, you should come into work for a retreat with us." And I was thinking, yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll be happy to do so. And then my friend from Summer House, Debbie, she invited me over for a retreat that she was holding. That was the first retreat I did, and it was all about sharing whole foods. And I feel like then it really got back to me was, well, what was my motivation for cooking, what inspired me. And really I had to dig deep, and I realized it all came from my grandparents. My grandparents lived up to when they were 100 years old, but
Wow.
my grandpa, yes, and my grandma are like 98, 96. And they were farmers, so I remember every time on the weekends when we used to go, it was the food fresh from the farm. They were just picking it up and cooking it straight away. And I remember them never using packaged food. And then I saw in these times that everything is sort of packaged here, and it makes it easier for us, but what's in there? So I started sort of changing my ideas again and thinking, no, if I want to live how they lived, I might not make it to 100, but if I want to live in the way that to have good shape up when I'm old, I need to start probably eating like they did and taking the packaged foods out. And then I sort of just wanted to share that with people, and I don't know, maybe inspire them, because sometimes I feel like it doesn't take too long to make a really nice meal with whole foods and stuff like that. And you can always prep in advance. So in retreat, what I love of that is because you get in touch with people. It's very different than the feeling that when you're in a kitchen and you're sending the food out there, the waiter's taking it, you have no contact whatsoever with the customer. But when you're in retreat, it's like a small group that you get sort of you have a connection with people. You explain the ingredients, why are you using them, and yeah, you get to see their reactions, their smiles when they're eating, and that's very, it touches my heart. It's very gratifying. So that's why I started this.
Nice, fantastic. So I guess the next question from there is like where do you see Dine with Viv going, and where do you want to take it? So obviously there's a retreat space, yoga space, wellness getaway space, but like where do you want to see it going and take it?
If people want to go on retreats, they want to invite me over for barbecues and things like that, I'm happy to do so. It's much more about sharing the food
Mm,
and, sharing that that knowledge, the passion I have for it, and also catering for dietaries.
Yeah.
I think when you look into dietaries, you shouldn't limit yourself too much, thinking, "Oh, this is not gonna taste good. This is gonna be boring. Vegetarian, vegan is boring." But nah, really, it can be. Sometimes you don't even realize some things that when we prepare at home, they taste like if they were a real, let's say, a strawberry shortcake, and it could be vegan, and it's like really good ingredients into it, and the texture and everything is there, and it's good for your body as well, because yoga did make me aware of, okay, what am I putting into my body, what am I doing into my body, which is the only container that we come into this world with. So yeah, it's sort of, it keeps going with that. So Dine with Viv is going to keep going, hopefully, once I'm able to start again, because these years basically everything sort of had to be on pause. But yeah, I just feel like it's just going to be paused. It's not that it's not happening, but just have to wait a little bit longer to get it going.
Nice. I really like that. So this body is the only container we come into life with and leave with. I really like that. That's well said.
Yes, it is, and we forget about it. We're always
Mm,
striving on, we're for something else. What's next? Where am I going? What am I doing? Work, 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 work. And then the moment that you get injured, you're sick, then you sort of start realizing, okay, yes, for the last year, maybe, I wasn't aware of myself or what's happening here, and do I want to keep going into that pathway, or I can take into another direction, into much more self-care and self-love.
well said, well said. Right, third question I have for you, Viv. I guess more about your life as a chef. So I'm really curious I know you've touched on it, but I'm really curious to share that piece. How has coronavirus impacted not just Dine with Viv, but yourself as a chef firsthand in your community?
Well, obviously the restaurants and hospitality industry is being hit really hard. I'm lucky that I have a permanent residency, and I'm job keeper from the government, because I still work for another restaurant, and lucky I have that opportunity to be supported by the governments. But I feel like there are a lot of people that don't have that, and I was on a sponsorship, and it was very difficult. Took a long time, a lot of hard work to get to the point where I could apply for my residency, and lucky I have it now. But the people that still hold onto sponsorships, or people that are casual chefs, or people that are students,
Mm,
they're really in big trouble, because they don't have income. They haven't had income since March. And I feel like now some businesses are opening, and sometimes not even obviously it's nothing in compared to what we used to sell, to what we sell now, but at least they're opening because they really care for this stuff, because it might not be much, 10, 15 hours in a week, but that might make a difference to somebody that hasn't had an income since March.
mm,
If you gotta see, I think, around and how look the cafes, look at your local people, what's open, what's closed, whoever is open, and I feel like they're doing a really, they have people that have hearts. I have a feeling,
mm,
I would like to say, these people that are human and want to do something, not just for themselves but also for their staff,
mm,
because it's very difficult situation. And I feel like some very close friends of mine are in this situation, that they're not getting any support, and it's been since March. It's been very difficult for them. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I can say.
That's yeah. That's we don't realize, a lot of us, including myself. It's almost 6 months, right, of no income for those who don't qualify for JobKeeper, job seeker. That's I can't imagine that. So yeah, amazing effort for those businesses who are generally opening or keeping open for those 10, 20 hours that someone could really benefit from and survive on.
Just
Um,
keep them afloat. So
yeah.
hopefully we remember these people, these businesses that are there still, keeping people afloat, and support them when we are allowed to open again. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess going on from that to the fourth question is, like how can we as a community get involved and support during these times, but also after lockdowns, hopefully soon, but not, obviously not just done with Viv, but the whole hospitality and chefs industry?
Yeah, I think it's much more of, choosing where are you going to eat? Where are you going to dine? Are these people doing the right thing for the employees? When you go out and you ask, is this organic, or you buy your veggies, your fruit organic, um, you want to make sure that your chicken or if you eat meat and stuff, it's all free range and it's, as natural as possible. And also and so then if you think of that in all the things that you're eating, but are you being mindful of which places are treating employees in the right way and which places are not? So I think we should maybe be a bit more humanitarian this time with ourselves, thinking, whoever what's happened in the industry, I think it's been neglected by the government for so many years. I'm sure you're aware of all the cases that have been out on the news and everything. So I think supporting small businesses instead of big ones, the locals, the local cafes, local restaurants, that I think is going to have a bigger impact in how we recover. And you were sharing something saying that if you support small businesses, the money basically stays in the community, but if you support the big ones, the money ends up getting out of the community and their economy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was the stat I shared was in
Mm-hmm.
Hawthorne here, 26% stays in the local community if you invest or if you spend your money in a big corporation. But if it's if you spend it in a small business, it's about 45 to 60% that
Yeah.
stays in the local community, which is big change, big impact. I guess, yeah, the other piece is that's really interesting because so we're talking about ethically spending our money better as well. And the other piece of buying local, which we've spoken about, is it's a sustainable choice as well. It's low carbon miles and all that, low
Mm-hmm.
carbon footprint, which is also really good. Um, was there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
No, that was it. It's been, yeah, interesting times, but I guess we're almost there. The only thing we just have to do is follow the rules at the moment. There's nothing else we can do. And then once we're allowed to be out there, the restaurants hopefully are allowed to open again, and same, we can go ahead with retreats. And also
Mm,
maybe, what we could do, what I was thinking, it'd be very important if people start sort of traveling locally. Let's say instead, before it was always the holidays overseas, let's go here, let's go there, but maybe Australia actually needs it this time. We need it. Victoria needs it.
mm,
We've all struggled, so I think we should go for an option like that.
absolutely. Head straight to the coast like Torquay and surf.
Yeah. Stay for surf.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. Well, there you have it. Viviana, thank you so much. Done with Viv. I'll chuck your details in the description. A chef, a wellness enthusiast, a yoga teacher, nurturing health, healthy, organic, and sustainable diets. Thank you so much for your
Oh,
time.
thanks so much for having me. It's been a
Anytime,
pleasure.
anytime. We'll talk soon.
I'll see you around. Bye bye.
Bye, Viv.